What's up, guys? Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 6 of the Save the Best for Last podcast. Today's guest was easily no intro needed, the best woman to walk the face of the earth, who happens to be my mom. She has 3 amazing children that are doing amazing things in society, which is one of the reasons I brought her on here. But there's so many things that I think are impactful of my life and my journey, which is why I wanted her to come on here. So without further ado, today's guest is the one and only Wendy Hart.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Don't make me cry. Don't make me cry.
Yeah, because the makeup, we've already had to fix it 6 times.
It's not a good
so
look.
we don't need to cry. But anyway, well, welcome, Mom.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I want to start today's episode with just a little bit about who you are, where you're from, where you grew up, and what it was like growing up there.
So, born in 1970,
Shout
Maryland.
out to all the kids in 1970.
Exactly, from 1970. Was raised in Maryland. Then I went to school in Boston. Then I went back to Maryland, then to Virginia, then to Florida, then here. So I'm an East Coast girl. This is the furthest west I've ever been.
Okay. We're starting with Maryland.
Yes, Maryland.
Growing up in Maryland.
Pretty awesome. My dad was very successful in the government. And so for Christmas, we used to get to go to the White House. And I thought all kids got to go to the White House for Christmas. But that's not the case. So that was really nice. I grew up equidistant between Annapolis, Maryland and D.C. So an amazing place to be raised. Wouldn't change it for the world. I like Ohio. It's similar to Maryland, but it's a little more affordable.
Wow.
Ohio. Yes. So how does my mom say Cincinnati, as my mother corrects
which is
me.
where my mom lives, if anyone was curious, but don't stalk her. I will literally end your life. But so, yeah, you grew up in Maryland. Mm-hmm. What caused you to want to leave Maryland for school?
I just wanted to meet new people. My dad was a Boston College alumni, so I was going to follow in his footsteps. But when I went to Boston College, it was in the city, and I wanted more suburbia, so I chose to go to Bentley. Had a great experience there. Really got to get closer to my grandmother. So I used to visit
Shout out,
her.
Mom. Rest in
Yes,
peace.
my grandmother, God rest her soul, passed away at 110, just May 20th, I believe. So I got to know her so much better by staying there. I used to go to her house on Sundays, do my laundry. She'd make me dinner. We'd watch 60 Minutes.
Shout out, Mom, for
Shout
dinner.
out to Mom, yes.
Those dinners were banging. Did she, complete side note. So my family, more so my mother's family, in my head, I will say, invented a recipe called chicken fricassee.
Yes.
Is she the one that pulls from?
It's
her
yes,
side?
it's her side.
So not King. What's her maiden last name?
Gosh, Welchek.
Welchek. That's fire.
It's Polish, yeah.
Okay, Poland.
That's where the longevity is coming from. Her father lived till 97. She lived till 110.
Wow.
We don't know what's in the... You might crimp my hose and I might die tomorrow, but without your intervening, I think I'm going to live a long life.
Slay. I love that for you.
Could go either way.
So you go to Boston College.
Mm-hmm. No, my dad went to Boston
No.
College. I went to Bentley.
So you go to Bentley.
Mm-hmm.
What was your college experience like? I wish we could pull up the photos.
We don't need to pull up the photos. And you know the beauty of being born in 1970? There's very minimal documentation on my choices.
So she can do the wildest shit, and it's not documented.
Nobody knows. I cannot confirm nor deny.
What was your wildest story from Bentley?
It's before Bentley.
It was in high school?
No. Well, there was a high school, the car.
Okay, start the high school story
So
first.
I challenged authority a little bit in my day. We'll just say that. So my dad, God love him, was rebuilding a car. And I thought I would take it to go to the mall in lieu of going to school. So just to let you know the impact, ditched school, stole my dad's car at 15, let my neighbor drive the car. The oil light went on. I ignored the oil light thinking it wasn't that deep. Then the car stopped. So we had them try to jump the battery. If you jump a battery when there's no oil in the car, it might catch on fire, allegedly. We don't know. That was a bad day. That was a bad phone call to my dad.
A.k.a. my mom's dad, probably didn't use nice words.
No, he had to spend the night outside of the house that night. just so
Happens
I
to
could
the best of
continue
us.
to live.
I feel like you've had moments like that, which we'll
We'll get to that in a moment.
We'll get to that in a moment.
Yes, the apple did not fall far. I think it's
I don't
still
think
on the
it
branch.
left the tree.
I think
Yeah,
it's on the branch.
I stayed on the tree.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
So
that was
a
high school story. College.
Then I got my stuff together because it was just best. So then I was in community college, and
So this was before Bentley.
right, and I was going to be a nursing major, but it was so hard. Like you had to study all the time, and I just wasn't feeling that. So I scrapped my exams, went to Jamaica because there'd just been a hurricane, so it was cheap because nobody in their right mind was going. So I went, failed my exams because I chose to go to Jamaica. Had my shrooms for the first time in Jamaica in an omelet, unbeknownst to me. Well, it had a different feeling than if you go to IHOP or Waffle House or Bob Evans.
Well, I don't think in America, at least I haven't heard it yet, but there's some weird shit that goes on here, so I don't want to put it past Joe Biden. But I've not heard any Waffle Houses, IHOPs, Bob Evans, etc. giving pancakes or
mushroom.
waffles with mushrooms in it. But hey, if you guys want to link up and do a brand deal and I eat things with mushrooms in it, I mean, shit. 5138, let me not.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that was my crazy college
And
experience.
what was that like when you ate that? Was it a waffle?
No, it was an omelet.
Oh, an omelet. That's
And
right. Not even an omelet.
It was my one and only dalliance in the mushroom world. And when it's good, it's great. It was me and a bendy straw for hours of entertainment, like making it straight, making it flex. I had a fantastic time. But a couple near me began to fight. And so then my life began to turn.
You're like, why are they fighting? Why are they doing
Yeah,
this?
so the next thing I really recall is this poor family was dining. A family was dining, and I begin to come to sitting at the table with them like, I don't know you and you don't know me.
So you sat with them.
For an unknown period of
They
time.
probably enjoyed that. You're great company.
I'm sure they had a ball. So that was my other questionable decision in my life, but I had a great time.
So that was in community college.
That was
though.
community college. Then I
So
had
how did we go from community college to Bentley?
my father kind of put a shot across the bow to pull it together or move out. I said, okay, I'm on board. I'll pull it together. So I had to change my major from nursing to communications because the studying for nursing was a little much for me. My daughter nailed it, but I did not. So then I became a communications major and did very, very well at Bentley. And that was,
There
I
you
graduated and it went seamless.
Okay. You know, that good end to a story. But
Yes,
the story
there's
doesn't end
always
there.
hope.
Yeah, there's always hope. So for anyone that's drowning in college, know that if you go from a medical major and just say fuck it and go to communications, you will too graduate.
Wow. It doesn't have the same ring when you say it as when I say it. I had a different spin. I guess it's all the
You made
PR
it sound
courses.
nice.
I made it sound
Yeah.
positive. You made it sound very realistic.
No, I think it's great.
Well, your brother and
still have a
sister
job.
always razz me.
We'll get into them later.
Yes.
Okay, so you graduate from Bentley. Mm-hmm. After graduation, what are you doing? Like, what's the plan? Where are you going?
I'm still trying to figure it out. So, worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car,
And that was in,
a not so affluent area of Maryland.
okay, shout out.
Yep.
The trenches.
We had one
I
get
lived in
returned.
Hilltop, so she basically worked in Hilltop of Maryland.
Family tradition, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for
Like
sure.
a car was returned with a condom on the gear shaft, and another one was returned with a body in the trunk, because you'll have that. I mean, we all have off days. So
Why not?
I decided maybe rental car wasn't
How
for
does
me.
communications degree turn to rental cars?
Enterprise will take anybody, but you have to have a college degree. They prefer someone who is in athletics or extracurriculars, and I played lacrosse. So
Need a degree to
need to
rent a car.
Yes, and when
Okay.
we're renting cars and we're washing them in suits and heels. I mean, it was something.
It was some real shit.
It was real.
Damn. So you work at Enterprise after the dead body in the back. Was a
After-
dead body in the trunk?
Yes, I did not receive said car. I just knew it
About
was
it at the
returned.
place.
I'm like,
Nice.
you know what? I think it's time for me to
We're
tap
just
out.
gonna get out of here. Yeah, I would too. So after Enterprise, that you're still in Maryland at this point?
Yes, but I went to Virginia,
Okay.
and that's when I
Why
heard
did you go to Virginia? Why Virginia?
a friend of mine lived there, and
And
it was
you're
a
like-
place for me to start.
Okay.
Like, because I knew I needed a new start. So
Okay.
I moved down to Virginia, and then my life really changed because, it was the beginning of you and your brother and sister.
Amazing. So she met my dad in Virginia,
Yes.
which you guys will get to meet that pal one day. And after you met there, then where did life take the two of you?
We went to Florida and that's where Madison was born. So Madison was born in this beautiful hospital, Cape Coral, like geese. It's beautiful.
Not Good Sam.
Exactly. So I have her, and I just think that that's how children are born. And
then she moves to the nasty.
Then I moved to the natty.
Baby. Okay.
And then I'm pregnant with you.
And she goes and has kids in the trenches.
And I remember because they weren't going to give me an epidural. I'm like, I'll go score some shit on a corner. I'm not doing this sober.
There is a fentanyl crisis in Cincinnati.
Yeah, so we can either do the epidural or I'll just, do what I have to do. But we're not having
the Narcan.
Yes, just in case I go too far.
Shit might hit the ground, yeah.
Yeah, you weren't going to be a natural baby.
So you and Dad moved from Florida to Cincinnati for Dad's job.
Yes.
And at this time, you're just stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Was that a vibe, or do you prefer working?
I really did enjoy it. But where you guys were raised on Stone Mill Way, it was just an amazing experience.
Shout out Stone Mill Way.
Yeah, we had great friends, a lot of children of the same age. It was like a village. We all kind of helped each other emotionally, spiritually, with the children.
Yeah.
Anything we needed. So it was a great experience. And you remember the parties that would be.
On the note of parties on Stone Mill Way. So I grew up in a suburb of Cincinnati, which is what she's talking about. And our neighborhood, specifically our cul-de-sac, was truly like no other. Like, we can go tit for tat in the comments of like who had a better neighborhood growing up.
We're gonna win.
We're gonna win. Like, I need you to share at least one story.
It was like of generations before, where your kids just played till the street lights came on and you knew they were safe, they knew they were okay. I'm trying to think of a story. That's where your table dancing debut started.
Yeah.
So
See, Shaquille,
Mackenzie
I was born a stripper.
Clearly. Was it 4 or 5? She was dancing on this red table in my neighbor's garage, as every child is. And the table gave, because it was not a table meant for weight.
It was like one that had like the cross legs and it folds up.
So that table gives out and she cracks her head. Well, she, God love her, didn't grow hair easily. It took a long time. And her father and I were like, if we take her to Children's or something, they're going to shave her head to staple her head.
She's going to be ugly.
We can't have that. So her dad and I separated a hair.
Keep in mind, neither of my parents have any, shout out my sister on the way to being a doctor, but my mom and my father are not in the medical field whatsoever. One literally ran restaurants.
But I watch a lot of shows. I watch Grey's Anatomy, which really makes me.
What the fuck? You're not Meredith Grey?
I could be if I wanted to study.
Okay.
That could have been.
Period. Then go ahead, finish your story.
Exactly. I'm on a roll. So I took all the hair out and I put little barrettes around it, and we used glue and glued her lightning bolt and held it for a little bit to make sure it stayed. A little bit later, we told the pediatrician what we did. She had recommended we don't do that ever again. So for you watching.
There's no going back, though.
You're making this sound so bad. In the moment, it seemed genius. But she still has a lightning bolt in her head, which I think
really took some hits in my life, and I think that's where it all started.
You can blame it on that if you will, but
Good times.
Good times. So that was a neighborhood story, but together as a village, we all helped glue your head together.
Good times. One more story, which if the federal government watches this, no, you didn't.
Well, you can't take my kids away now. You're all grown. So
no, this isn't a kids away story.
Okay.
This is just a you away.
Oh no.
We had a neighbor that I'm gonna tell 2 stories. One, I'm gonna start with the guy where once he got evicted, we raided the house.
This is also almost a Mackenzie Elizabeth story.
No, but you got to tell it now, because now we're in too deep. And I think there's a law that it's like once it's over 10 years old, it's dead and gone. Well, I made it up, so Joe Biden, go with it.
Just this gentleman left his house.
No, but let's talk about the gentleman before we talk about the house. The tow truck.
Oh, yeah, Spinny. Yes. I think we called him. Yeah, he had a repossession business is what his business was. And
repossessed vehicles.
He was not a fan of mine. I think he bartered chickens to get this beautiful landscaping done. Do you remember that? Like out of nowhere, it had this beautiful landscaping. And maybe we just made up the story that he bartered chickens.
He probably did.
He probably did. But
anyway, so he always had a tow truck on the street, which we lived in a neighborhood where houses were 6 feet apart from each other. There's no room for a fucking tow truck on the street.
No.
So no one liked this guy. He didn't like the rest of the clan.
No.
So when he got we don't know what happened, right? To this day, evicted, died.
Well, I'm going to pull back a little bit. I was being a Karen, just calling it what it is. I was being a Karen. And I put my face to the window to see what was he doing, because my friend owned the house and lots of stuff was coming and going, like wood and toilets and stuff was coming and going. And I was curious what he was doing. And he may have threatened to kill me. Like, I just said, you know, he goes, this isn't your business. I said, you're right. I'll just wait for the house to get repossessed and I'll find out then. Like, he didn't like my very New England way of managing the conversation.
Oh, God. So he finally does get...
He does get asked to leave.
Evicted, I assume, right?
Yes.
That was the story. And the house was just chilling with all this shit inside of it.
But you're doing two different houses.
Really?
That's, the one house was down the street. The other one was 2 doors up. That they did get evicted and they left stuff behind, and we treated it as a yard sale. Was it a yard sale? It's not yet to be determined, but we treated it like a yard sale.
The one neighbor hated you / everyone. The one a couple blocks down also got evicted, and you decided to raid the house out and take all his shit.
When you say raid, that has such a harsh connotation. I merely think we just took assets from one home, like a Robin Hood. I gave it to the people.
I gave it to the people. Pause. Pause. On behalf of the people. You know how she started off this whole episode of the apple doesn't fall far from the tree? It actually didn't leave the fucking branch. When I was in kindergarten, I feel like you should start this story.
This is an awesome story. So Mackenzie went to Mackenzie's number 2. And as of most firstborns, they're very compliant. They do as they're asked. And then you have the second one. The first one lures you into having another one. It's like puppies. Don't fall for it. Stick with one. So the first puppy goes through the school and all things are going well. Second puppy goes to school and things take a turn. So we have a woman who's a teacher's aide who's a little bit older. It was a late in life. She was pregnant. It was a late in life pregnancy.
In like her 40s.
Yeah, and she was very tired. She was very exhausted. And Mackenzie, in her very eloquent fashion, says, with all due respect, your job is not that complicated. I'll hand out the crayons while you take a seat. I might have gotten a phone call on that one.
I was speaking on behalf of the people.
No, that was in 2nd grade when I got the call because you were talking on behalf of the cast and they asked you to mind your own business and all of a sudden you were speaking on behalf of the people.
Yeah. So again, my point was that I speak on behalf of the people.
You were very well spoken from a very young age.
Yeah. They should have known I was going to have an episode where I talked shit about them. The other neighbor that I want to talk about before we move past the upbringing of Stone Mill Way.
By the way, with all this negative, Stone Mill Way was it was awesome.
No. These stories are funny. Like, none of this was bad.
But people
this was
watching
funny.
Are probably traumatized, thinking I'm probably a felon.
No.
I'm not a felon.
No record. Neither of us.
Yeah.
Almost, but no. But we had another neighbor. We're talking about the neighbors that were felons, Mom. That's supposed to bring out the humor. So we had another neighbor named Socks.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk about Socks for a second. Shout out Socks if you're alive still.
Socks, if I'm not mistaken, weren't they caught on the street wearing just socks, hence the name Socks, because they were in some drug-induced state on Oxy?
Well, this is what I found out from the Bundys. He was on an Oxy and drunk, driving his car through the golf cart.
Yes, that is true.
Through the golf course. And then he was found running out of the car with nothing. When I say nothing, I mean...
No, it wasn't. That's not true. It's not nothing. He had socks on. That's why we call him Socks.
But my point is, you could see everything except his feet.
His feet were fully covered. I just want the record to show he was not naked. He had socks on.
AKA Socks.
We renamed him.
But no, great memories, great parties, fireworks.
Yes. Oh, yes. Fireworks.
My brother got hit by one at a young age. Shout out my dad.
Yeah. We also had a neighbor catch on fire because of the fireworks. But they came. He's fine.
He's fine. But yeah, great memories growing up there. So we lived there until I was in 5th grade. Then 5th grade, we moved down the block. Not actual block, but like 8 minutes away.
Yeah,
so
very
essentially
close.
Like the block.
Went from private school to public.
Yeah, and that was, would you say, what type of effect did that have on you and your life when we went from private to public? And moving from that street. Cause
it was a lot on so many levels because I moved from my support network. You went from private to public, totally different ball game. Trying to advocate on your three behalfs. If I didn't think the school had your best intention, I wasn't used to the size of the public school system. But also great things came from, being in a more diverse school district. And there were pros and cons. Our new neighborhood wasn't quite ready for us. No.
Yeah, so the new neighborhood was like no hate, no shade to Aspen Trails. I just wanted that to be put out there. Great neighborhood. Safe, nice. Mm-hmm. But they're just not down. They just not about it. That's really the best way to put it. Like, I'm going to tell a couple stories about growing up in Aspen Trails. First of all, when we moved into our first neighborhood, it was like all these new families, right? So we have pretty much all kids ages between like 2 and 6, maybe 2 and 8.
Yeah, very similar.
Very similar in age, being raised together as a pack. But when we moved into Aspen Trails, it was also a new development, but we were older.
We were the only
So we were like the
family.
older kids in the neighborhood, and all the other kids were like, again, 2 and 8, and then you have these 12 to 16-year-olds coming in. Heathens, right?
Oh, my gosh.
So these poor families are just trying to raise kids, and I have to put yourself in their shoes. If you were on Stone Mill Way, the first neighborhood, and had this family move in with a bunch of teenagers that were throwing fucking ragers, and you're trying to raise a 2-year-old, and they're up in the middle of the night crying because the neighbor has... I just got some top from a stripper bitch. She from Kankakee. Like, you would be pissed too.
Remember the Karen incident that I told you I was guilty of?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have been.
Karma was a bitch.
I am a hypocrite. Let's make this very clear. What I wanted when my children are younger and what I put on to others when you were older, totally different conversations.
Totally different.
And I'm at peace with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. I'm okay.
Yeah, so am I. But
at the end of the day, do I do things a little differently than other people? Absolutely. Do I have 3 successful children? Absolutely.
Which we'll get into that in a second, but it's the buildup.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Scale this back.
As we're in Aspen Trails, I think I have 2 stories that just really hit me real good.
Was I around on these?
Oh, yeah, you were around. Steve's house getting invaded, you were around.
Oh, that was bad.
So anyone that knows me from age 12 to 17 was when it just all came crashing down, was like I was really into partying.
She was very hard to... She was not one to be on a short leash.
Yeah, not at all.
And I'm a short leash kind of mom. Didn't always
so
play
I have,
out well.
like she said at the beginning, I have my first sister that's yes ma'am, no
Yes.
sir. I'm going to school to be a doctor. I'm love her to death. Shout out Madison Hart. But I'm not that. Anyone that knows me, I'm not
Mackenzie
that.
Elizabeth fucking
I don't
Hart.
even know what a fucking leash is. She had a leash. I was the invisible fence dog. Like, I'm running all over the fucking yard. Invite all the dogs in the yard. Like, I don't care. And so, but before parties, I was just very, like, rebellious, like, in regards to everything, which, it made me who I am today. Mm-hmm. So, no regrets. Right. But it caused my mom a little stress, to say the least. Mm-hmm. So, one of the, I think, best events that I did, which there's 2 that are just real good ones, is that I told my mom it's after homecoming. That's what it is. We had a homecoming party, and I had a homie in high school, and he was even begging my mom, Miss Hart, we got nowhere to go after homecoming. We got to pull up. We got to slide. We have to come. My mom's like, no, I can't even fit 50 kids in this house. Like, we're not doing it. I don't have the energy, whatever, which rightfully so, because I'm a lot of energy, and all my friends were a bunch of me's, essentially. Somehow my friend in high school got her to fold and allow me to have this
They beat
hangout.
me down.
I think she was beat down. Yeah, I think you were just like defeated at that point.
Yeah. I lost my will to live.
And we also like pitched it as like a hangout. Like, it wasn't a party. It was a hangout. Like, we were chilling. It was going to be like 4 kids. It was going to be like 2 of the couples from prom or high school homecoming. It was going to be really
very low key.
Really low key, right? So as anyone that has been to a public high school or just high school in general knows, word gets around fast. Like, Kenzie Hart's throwing a party, we're all sliding. Yeah. Like, every homecoming group of 20 or more is pulling up. So this party that, seriously, like, no lie, started off as probably 15 max people, turned into 80 real quick.
And remember, my mom, this development already is not a fan favorite of Wendy Hart.
Keep in mind, development, already not liking the older kid house.
Yeah.
They're already fucking out of control.
Mm-hmm. And this sealed that deal.
Yeah, this really sealed it. So I have this party. Of course, underage activity was happening without my mom's knowledge, and we're just getting plastered in the basement, right? I want to put that on record because I get paranoid, even though I love to throw the ragers, I get paranoid about the ragers because, like, I don't want my mom to hate me. Like, yeah, I'll drive her to that point of, like, about to hate me, but, like, hating me, she'll never do. And so I'm like, I never want to, like, cross that line. So I try to contain as best as I can.
And it's kind of like there's a Ryan Reynolds movie about it. Like there's layers to the party. So I have a 3-level house. The real rager was happening in the basement. Madison, golden child. In the middle, she's the buffer so I don't hear all hell breaking loose. And I'm upstairs pretending this is not happening.
Sleeping with TV on max.
Yeah, max.
6
ceiling
cores,
fan.
lights deep.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't going on. And my sister's like trying to manage everyone. Like, no, you're too drunk. Stay down there, whatever, right? So at 4 a.m., everyone got to stay because I knew what was going on. And I was like, last thing I want them to do is drive, right?
So I respect that.
Respect that. See, Popo Kenzie was coming in clutch. So I had everyone contained in the basement.
It's going in clutch a bit strong for when you hear the rest of this story. We're going to go back to coming in clutch and see if maybe we should rephrase.
4 a.m. I'm like, I'm cool. Everyone's asleep. Everyone's blacked out. I can go to sleep now, finally. My sister's like, all right, we made it through the night. We're good. I'm going to go to my bedroom. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm like, bet. So I go to sleep.
15 minutes, maybe 20?
Max.
Max 20?
I hear. I'm like, fuck me. So I hear that and I'm like, it's the feds. Like I knew, like I wasn't even truly sleeping because I was paranoid and it was the federals.
Also known as
and my sister's at the door with her boyfriend at the time trying to figure out what's going on. Cause like
trying to do damage control because they're trying not to let me
know. We honestly didn't know what was going on because we didn't like do anything out of control to my knowledge.
Right.
Okay.
That's critical.
Critical thinking to my knowledge. So I'm like, hello, sir. Like, my name's Wendy Hart. Like, these are all my friends. It was homecoming last night. Like, what's going on? Well, ma'am, is your mother here? Is your father here? I'm like, nope, Dad and Mom don't live together no more, but my mom's asleep. What can I do so that you don't wake her up? Because I don't want to die. Keep in mind, I want to pause because this is a good point to add. One of the things that I had my mom agree to on top of the party was the next day, me and my mom were going to go to the Wiz Khalifa concert together. Okay? So I knew in the back of my head, if she wakes up, Wiz Khalifa, which I'd already had to bribe her with probably my $200 that I made at Foot Locker over a whole year.
I'm going to interject for a second. You guys need to really get a taste of life with Kenzie. She gave my personal cell phone out to all her friends so they could say why I should take her to Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I put her phone number on the internet and had people send her text messages so that I could go to Wiz Khalifa to basically...
When you retell it, I'm a god.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm an absolute... Because I'm not in prison and you're still with us. And that is a miracle.
So back to the cops. The cops are asking for my mom. I'm like, please don't ask my mom. Ma'am, one of the people that was at your party broke into another house.
Yes, threatened to kill somebody.
We need your mother. I'm like, wait, who did what?
He didn't break into the house. He tried to. He was pulling on the door, but he was threatening their life.
Okay, so to explain what she just said, which is 100% the truth, there was a kid, shout out if you watch this, but honestly, fuck you, that I was really cool with in high school, and he honestly didn't cause any issues. I didn't think
I think he truly, looking back, he had a moment. It was a bad moment.
Yeah, honestly.
I know it sounds twisted when you hear what happened, but it was just a bad night.
And we've all been there. We've had our moments.
I haven't threatened to kill anybody yet.
Yeah, true. Me neither.
Let us not segue.
But you have 50 more years of life. You never know.
I might.
But anyway, he, unfortunately, crazy enough, got so intoxicated that he was outside trying to get air. I guess because there was people literally sleeping on our porch because there were so many people. And I guess he woke up on the porch after like s'mores, whatever, and got discombobulated of which house was mine and tried to get into my neighbor's house at 4 a.m. Keep in mind, this neighbor, God bless his soul. God bless his soul. Steve, wherever you are, apparently he lives in India now. He's foreign. He's from India.
Great man.
Really great guy. Really close with us. Not really understanding of like what we do as like young American kids. So he genuinely thought someone was trying to break into his house.
Well, he was.
Because he was.
He was.
He was trying to break into his house. And so God bless Steve. He was prepared.
Yeah, he was about to kill the kid.
He was about to kill the kid. Real talk. And the police, shout out to Poe and Butler County, who really were fans of us.
Yeah, well, they were frequent flyers.
They were frequent flyers at the Hart household. they stopped it, and unfortunately my mom had to get involved, and their parents had to get called, and everyone's kids' parents had to get called, and I really just wanted to climb into a hole for a
But the
couple
police
weeks.
were amazing. Like they really
could've
did.
done a lot more.
They were very supportive of the position I was in and very helpful because some of the parents were rightfully so, but nasty at me. And he said, ma'am, you know, your son's car is filled with all types of alcohol and paraphernalia.
And I made sure that their parents knew because they obviously are mad at me because I'm
Right.
the girl that gets caught with all the kids drinking at the party. But like, your son, first of all, wasn't
Rolled up
invited
drunk.
here. Was not invited here. Like, I have no problem with that kid, but he was not a part of the 15 group clan. And he showed up. I don't even know how he showed up to my house. Like, I don't know how he legally could have been driving. So
It was safer for him to spend the night, right?
I think I was God sent, essentially.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I do want to give my mom a huge shout out because the next day we definitely did go to Wiz Khalifa.
We did go to Wiz Khalifa.
And it was a good time.
And I talked to the cops and made friends. Well, you did whatever you did.
My mom was probably asked to smoke 12 joints.
Yes, because from behind they think I'm her age, and then I turn and they'd see my
body built
aged
like a
face,
dancer.
and they'd be, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am." I'm like, I'm all set on my
blunt.
fatty intake today, but thank you for offering.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Anyway, so that was my first, not my first high school party, but the first one that went sideways. The second one, which to give you some context,
I want everybody to know my house was not involved in part due.
No.
We've never done that twice.
so the second one, unfortunately, was a very dark time of my life, mental health wise. Truly, it
We're
really
gonna
was.
stay positive though.
Yeah,
But it wasn't. Yeah, you were in a moment. You were having a rager.
Yeah, it wasn't my best moment in life. Excuse me. And I was like, you know what? This time, I'm gonna think about my mom, and I'm not even gonna get her involved.
Yeah, that
Not
was
even
very
gonna get
thoughtful,
involved.
by the way.
Really was.
It was.
Truly.
I should have thanked you. And
Honestly,
I forgot to thank you.
I tried to get you out of it, but you know they always need a parent. I'm like, my sister's 18 in 3 days. Like, please, like.
But she's skipping a step. She went and rented a place.
So
a
I
location.
took it upon myself.
Being the party planner.
Being the party planner I am, which I wanted to do that for a while because I was just so elevated at it, that I was gonna go to a nearby like farm that was known for throwing weddings, parties, all these things, and I was gonna
Contained
go
events.
there and rent this barn out. Well, side note, I had already gotten a fake ID because every 17-year-old needs a fake ID. So I was like, if worst comes to worst, I can whip this out. And he's like, oh, she's 21, perfect. But sadly, but good for me, but sadly to the man, he was like at least 90 years old.
He was older man.
Very old, that owned this whole property, that did all these events. They had like a farm. Shout out Niederman's farm. So anyway, I go up to the meeting that I have to set up the party with him. He didn't even ask for ID. It was like $200. And I took it upon myself because I'm a young entrepreneur to raise money to
Yeah,
not
you
only
did.
pay for the party, but to pay for all the decorations, the decor, and leave with $500, right? I'm rich.
Profit
I'm
off
17 and rich. So I literally made a flyer. When I tell you every kid between the age of 14 and probably 21 in Cincinnati was there, like there were hundreds of people, but it gets good, I went all out. I had food, I had drinks, not alcoholic drinks, that you had to do on your own, but I had snacks, candy, piñatas, streamers, everything you can think of. And I took it upon myself because there was a lot of factors in my life that I wanted to make sure certain people didn't come, that I hired security. So I hired bigger people that I went to high school with, that where I was really close with, to just monitor the property. Okay? I was like, these 5 individuals can't come in. If they show up, they can't come in. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So they did as they were told, which shout out to them. They were getting paid. So this guy shows up that wasn't supposed to be here. That was part of the agreement. And he's like, oh, no, buddy, you got to go. Kenzie doesn't like you. You're not welcome. This kid, I know your karma served you, because he takes it upon himself to not only call the police on the party and say that there's underage drinking, but to say someone has a gun.
Yeah, there was a shots fired or
Whole thing, right? Which, to call the police on a party and be petty is one thing, but when you say someone has a gun, they don't just show up with a couple cop cars. They show up with the SWAT, okay? So there's like 30 cop cars rushing in. Someone screams, the feds are here. The feds are here. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm just having a good, like, things were good. Like, I had all my P's and Q's lined up. I knew it was going to be a good night, and I didn't have to stress. I didn't have my mom to stress about.
Yeah, because I didn't know this was taking place.
She had no idea. She thought I was going to.
She was attending a party. I didn't know she was hosting
Exactly.
one. Until I had to come.
The feds are here was the one thing I heard, and I'm like, how? Like, I did everything right. How?
You did everything right unless you're 17, signing up for a party as if you're of age.
Okay, well, we don't have to get
I don't mean to sidetrack us.
Put a kibosh on it. But yeah, except for that. So the police, I just hear the sirens. I hear them screaming at kids. There are kids literally sprinting in every direction. You have to keep in mind, this is a barn in the middle of a cornfield. It's still in the suburbs, but it's like ducked out. So like it's a mile to get to like main roads. So people are running into, like, stories I hear from these kids, running into the creek, in the water. It's October. It's Halloween.
Right,
so it's cold as shit in Ohio. And people are running everywhere, into the woods, everywhere. And it was honestly the most chaotic moment of my life. Because I'm like, people are literally probably going to see me as, like, this, look, what, you know what I mean? Like, this girl's got me in the woods. This girl's got me in a creek. This girl has me hiding in her car. Because
I don't think people were blown away by that.
Really?
Just remember we talked about kindergarten and second grade. I'm going to assume
this was like on brand.
Their friends are
for
like,
me.
It was Kenzie.
Yeah,
Kenzie's doing what Kenzie does.
True, but I'm like, oh my God, what are these people?
Well, you know that it's about to get real.
Then it clicks. Then I'm like, fuck everyone else. I'm about to get arrested. Like, there's drinking, probably drugs. I have no idea because there are legitimately hundreds of people. The one person I need to give a huge shout out to is my little brother.
Yes.
John Connor Hart was 15 years old when this took place, but he came because when he gets to go to party with all these hot older girls.
Again, I was unaware.
Okay, yeah, mom had no idea. She was coming with Kenzie to the party, not that Kenzie was throwing the party. So anyway, Connor stayed. Connor helped me clean up. I'm crying to the police like, no, please don't tell my mom. She's gone. Then they're like, she's gone. Your sister said she's in town. I'm like, fuck my sister. Like, it was terrible. And it was just, honestly, it was that time in my life, though, where I hit a reality check of like, what do I want to do? Because unfortunately, before that, which we'll get into this, I was a very competitive athlete. Mm-hmm. And when I lost that sport, I kind of lost my sense of life.
You had been doing it for so long. And in all respect for you, I'd raised you that you're going to play soccer at a Division I level. And that's how this is. I'm a bit type A. And so it becomes overwhelming. It was the only thing you did, morning, noon, and night, year round. And when you decided that was too much, your whole identity went with it.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point. I think truly at that point, and it was that day where I had an identity crisis. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. All these people that were just here and just running away from this party, like I didn't even know. I probably knew 20 of the people there. Mm-hmm. In all seriousness, there were people coming in that I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, what's going on? And I just came to a point where like,
that's kind of like me in Jamaica. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have something like, I've got to stop fucking up. I've got to get it together. And we all have that moment. It's a matter of when. You had it before me. I was in my 20s.
And there's a song by John Bellion called All Time Low. You probably all heard it. I'm at an all-time low, 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 low. And that was truly like my lowest point in life. One of them. Top 5, I would say. But it molded me into who I am because I got support and help that I needed to like find my identity in a sense and find my higher purpose. And from there, I got multiple jobs. So I was working multiple jobs. And then I went to college for 2 years. And then once I realized that
just wasn't for you.
Wasn't for me at this point to get a degree, I was just like, I'm going to tap into fashion.
Ooh.
Not our picture.
We are falling.
Look at our picture, guys. It's so cute. What year do you think this is, Mom? 2004, the top one?
Oh, to the top one, 2003. You're not a year yet.
Okay, 2003, and the bottom was probably 2005 or 6.
Yeah. My little girl.
Great memories.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the funny thing for you who have followed her podcast, this is 6, Mackenzie, until she went to school, used to hide behind me. Like she was an introvert. She was very trepidatious as a little girl. And then I don't know what happened in school, but this evolved.
But I popped out.
You popped out of that shell, my friend.
Real quick.
I don't know. Maybe it's because of being 3. You're like, I'm not getting lost between thing 1 and thing 3. Hell no. So
Hell no.
I'm Mackenzie Elizabeth Hart.
For sure. Yeah. The young me, I've heard stories, was a lot more quiet than I am currently.
You were, but you know what? Wouldn't change it for the world. With all these stories, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Not at all.
Because your spirit, like, there was a Mother's Day that it was the beginning of COVID. And we had trouble getting reservations, and Madison, God love her, had just admitted defeat early, like, it's not meant to be. I guess
There's
you're not
always
going
to be next Mother's Day.
There's always next year.
Her.
And I was just so devastated, so devastated. And Kenzie, even if I'm setting it's fine, she knows it's not fine. And she went to Chili's because she knew people at Chili's, and she's like, my mom loves your ribs and taters. Could you please get some
and I need
to go?
ASAP.
Yeah, there was an hour's wait, and she went right through the to-go area, found a manager that she knows, and says, Mike, God love Mike.
Shout out Mike.
She goes, I need this for my mom. She went and got a shake from UDF because I love those. She got me a card. Like you always make sure I'm okay. You always make sure that. So with all the, Kenzie stories, the gratitude I have for you, it's more than you'll ever know.
I appreciate that, Mom.
Yes.
All the love. On a side note, we bring up soccer. I know I talked about in my first episode, but my mom can really vouch for it more than anyone else can. But I played soccer at a national level from 6 to 16.
Well, at that level, no.
Not until national level.
She started
like
soccer
12.
at about 6, but in terms of the level of competitive, I'd say 12. It started with.
But I want you to talk about your experience as a soccer mom, because I know that's a really big trendy thing. But for me, a soccer mom wasn't like, oh, you have your cute little duffel. You have your
God,
cute little...
no.
We were coming to the games with the bruise, and we were getting lit.
Yes, we were hardcore soccer moms.
Yeah.
But the friendships I have from those soccer years, it was just something.
But I want to talk about the stories, because like I kind of shared on my first episode, and I'm going to go a little bit into more on this episode because my mom can testify to it, is we went all over the country, like legitimately driving, flying, everything. And so those were our vacations.
Yeah, yes, that was vacation.
We weren't bajillionaires, and these trips were very costly.
Right. Well, even just, anybody whose children play competitive cheer, competitive sports, the warm-up outfit is...
Yeah, my warm-up outfit was probably $500.
Right. I mean, everything it was just so expensive.
So costly, yeah. So
but you look good.
Oh, we looked great.
Damn good.
I'm going to insert a photo. We were badass.
But we also had a cult following to your coach. Like if he said that to play a game, we need to be in thongs and sports bra, the parents would have been like, yes. If that's what's going to get a W and get them to nationals, here's the sports bra for you.
Here we are.
We were truly...
What thong do you want? Like,
exactly.
We'll do whatever
the parents
you want.
blindly... And no regrets.
Yeah.
Because
he was like...
to watch you guys play soccer was something I've never... Like they say, it's like a ballet, the passing, it was just beautiful to watch.
It was really a cult, but we did have
the best
quite
cult
the talented
ever.
Team. Yeah, best cult ever. On that note, I want to tell a story about, I didn't experience this, but my mom got to, and now as an adult, I'm super jealous. But at the time, I was probably like, Mom.
No.
You're so annoying. Why would you do that?
We're not having a Mackenzie Elizabeth. Are we having a Mackenzie Elizabeth
moment? Should I not tell this story? I can tell a different one, but this
is it
one's
where I
good.
think we're going?
Yes. The mints.
Don't judge me.
Shout out to my soccer coach that anyone that's in my life knows who he is. He was my longest term coach, and he got me to a
level of competitiveness.
Junior Olympics. He got me to a regional and national level. One of the most talented coaches I've ever had the pleasure of playing with. But he was intense, if my mom knows. And he was also intense with the parents' after hours activities.
When we say intensity, it was fun at a level that I'll probably never experience again.
Because like these late 30s, 40s, 50-year-old parents are legitimately following my coach into whatever he wants to do after the game. So we, would have a tournament Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
But no matter what we did, he was always on spot.
Oh, he was at the games,
the
at the team
parents
breakfast,
were praying
at the
for
managers.
death. I washed my hair with body lotion. So, but that's
because
a side
she was
note.
Still drunk.
I couldn't see
8 a.m. Yeah.
But he was always coaching.
But I want to talk about the after hours, and I think we were in Cleveland or St. Louis.
It was St. Louis.
Was it St. Louis? Was it?
Oh, positive.
The Mints?
Wait, that was Cleveland.
It was Cleveland. Mm-hmm. So we went to Cleveland for a state, national-wide tournament, and it was a really, I remember it being a really intense tournament, but we won it because we won in most things. Shout out to him. But I guess Friday or Saturday night after our day's worth of games, as we're sleeping, our parents took it upon themselves to go to a strip club. Because, that's what soccer moms really do. They pretend on the internet that they, have the cute outfits and, oh, my mom's a soccer mom, but they're really, strip club fanatics.
I'm going to have to support the soccer moms. This was a one-off. This was a one-off. And
But you guys did fun shit.
we always did fun shit.
Fun shit.
But
that's like the climax of fun shit.
That was.
So how did that come about?
So the dads wanted to do it. It was mostly dads, and there's a few moms. And I said, there is no way in hell I'm going to this with you men. Hold on a second, he says, as he grabs one other mom who's like, I'm in. What the hell? So there we go. I'm in literally rain boots. Rain boots.
Polka dot ones.
Polka dotted rain boots. Because
on brand.
I always wear dots. And my jeans and my sweater. And next thing I know, the coach is telling this woman that it's my birthday. And what is my birthday wish? A lap dance. I didn't know what to do with this woman's ass in my face, but as I'm smacking it, I'm saying, what are your college aspirations? Where are you going with your life? This is true footage. Then, because that wasn't enough.
She was trying to get this girl out of the trenches.
Yes. So then next thing is
Diamond,
I'm on
wherever
the
you're
stage.
at, my mom was trying to plug you in.
So I'm on the stage with the rain boots still because I'm still shining bright. And the coach is no, that's a different strip club, throwing the Olive Garden mints at the woman, just so you know.
Fuck throwing cash at her.
She refused to, all of a sudden, I see her sulking and she's texting. I'm like, you're not going to make no money if you don't like do your thing. She's not doing her thing. She's pissed. Apparently, Olive Garden mints are offensive. She was on strike until we all exited. So that was the end. That was a really short-lived club. But that was after my first dalliance of the ass smack, which I'm a one and doner. I've experienced it. Did you know that the attractive women make less money than the unattractive women? I don't understand.
Who told you that?
I saw it in real life. And this woman was stunning. And I'm trying to get because I didn't bring singles. I'm just.
Mom, you have to think about it from a man's perspective, okay?
Did
she have large breasts and a large ass?
I don't know. I don't believe she was just stunning. She was stunning.
Yeah, you should have gotten her.
I was into people's
somewhere.
the men with me. I was in their wallets trying to take the singles to make it rain because I wanted them to pay her, but they didn't want to pay her. They wanted to pay that other girl that was a little on the trashy side. I'm like, give it to that one she's probably on Grey's Anatomy. She's probably going to med school.
And this is how she's paying for it.
Yeah, she's there crawling around on all fours with her Walmart bag, putting the cash in. I'm like, give her
a plastic bag. Go ahead and pick it. You wouldn't understand. Drake.
Yeah,
that one guy?
No.
Drake.
I know I look like a Drake fan, but I'm not.
Luke Combs, though.
Luke Combs, if he had a plastic bag, I'd be aware.
You'd be aware of Luke Combs' plastic bag. All right. Anyway, what are I feel like there's got to be a soccer story that it's not coming in front of mind. That's just real great. You already kind of mentioned the one where you put the lotion in the hair.
Yeah, the lotion on the hair was my time. Yeah. The only other thing I can think of, I'm almost ashamed of me. I truly don't need a 12-step program, but I know it sounds this way right now, is remember, because of lotion night, when I washed my hair with body lotion.
She was so hungover that she thought the lotion was the conditioner.
You know, in the showers, they have the 3, and I'm like, looks
she's also
close
low-key
enough.
legally blind.
There's
unfortunately.
That. So the next day, I went right to my room. I'd had enough. And you asked the other parents, you were worried if I was okay. Like, where's Mom? She's not out. She's not at the strip club? What's going on? Is everything okay? And I really just was taken
to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, valid. Oh, my God, I have one. You're going to know it. If you don't know the song, then this might be the end of the episode. We're driving to Maryland. Come on.
Yes. Stir fry.
She got it. Shout out Migos. So excuse me.
The coach was driving us.
So we decided, the coach agreed to drive me and my mom so we didn't have to pay the gas and we could get there early.
A lot of people were flying and we were driving. So we had everybody's luggage. Yes. Everybody who wasn't flying.
And we were in your van?
My van.
Your van, right. And so my coach was really into rap and hip hop, which was awesome for me because that's what I listened to.
It was hell on earth for me.
But my mom's more of like a 80s, 90s Michael Bublé, Celine Dion / country lover. Josh Groban. She likes shit in foreign languages. Yeah. So if that's your bag, I mean, I have a single 54-year-old mom. I'll slide the number in the caption. But like Migos and Drake and like Fetty Wap aren't her thing. I've kind of gotten her into Ray Shremmer and Wiz Khalifa. Yeah. She doesn't hate them. She actually could vibe with them. But Migos, not her bag. So me and my coach took it upon ourselves, like, we're just going to play stir fry until we get there.
8 hours.
So it was
8
in the kitchen and like a stir fry. And my mom's like, fuck stir fry. I'm never eating stir fry again. I'm never doing that. This is terrible. Like, but now she knows literally every word of the song.
Let's keep going. So we drove and listened to Stir Fry for 8 hours.
There is more to the story.
And we're in Maryland. and there was snow. Don't get me wrong. And we got a call from people in Ohio. The game is closed. Their whole tournament's canceled. We're 8 hours into this trek.
We got
it is canceled because of snow. I'm like, I'm fucking here.
There is no snow.
There is no snow. We were on the field. I'm like, you've played in worse. I couldn't. I had truly an out of body. I couldn't.
We had already booked the whole trip, so we made a trip out of it.
Hotels booked, paid for, and we were there. But we did make the best of it.
Got a Navy tour.
We got a Navy tour. Navy team. Yep. Met a friend. Had drinks
and crabs.
Dinner. Yep. Had crabs. That was amazing.
Not crabs the disease.
Yes. Like Annapolis crabs.
But it was really a good time. But the tournament did get canceled, and my mom was pissed because soccer is truly one of her biggest.
That was my biggest joys, watching you play. Yeah. Watching all three of you do your sports.
Oh my God. 2 more stories about soccer, and then we'll move on because we have.
Yeah. How are you doing on time?
How are we doing on time? 45 minutes in? So we got 15 minutes left.
Okay.
So anyway, my final soccer story is that this brought out the true Karen soccer mom in my mom. We played a team.
She just called me Karen. Did anybody hear that?
Sorry.
Wendy. You're going to have to apologize.
So we played a team from Detroit. Love Detroit now at my grown age. But this was like the Michigan State defending champions. Like, I can't remember the club, but they were absolutely fantastic. But they were fucking dirty.
They had street cred.
Like, they had street credit. So they were more of like aggressive than skilled technique.
There's aggressive, and then there's what happened during that game.
So this girl
I
was the 8 and she was the 8. If anyone knows, that's a center mid position. So we're constantly defending each other offensively against each other. But me and her are constantly connecting on the field. And this bitch was insane. Like, she would step on the back of my heels and take the skin off. Like, my socks were white. They were red because I was bleeding. Like, she would and the refs weren't calling shit.
No.
Because soccer's really weird and biased.
It's competitive.
And yeah. There's all these things. So my mom's seeing this. And if my mom's yelling, ref, hey, are you fucking blind? Whatever. Like, I know I'm not crazy because, like, my mom's seeing it. Like, this girl's going, like, she has no skill, no technique. It's all physicality. So finally, a card gets pulled against her because she did some crazy out-of-pocket shit. And, like, I was on the ground laying, like, help. Like how men's soccer does in MLS. The flopping. But, like, I truly was thrown. And so my mom gets out of her seat, and he's like, are you fucking kidding me, ref? This girl is out of control. And her mom gets up. And I'm like...
I'm not a biggest cat in town. I'm not
She's
a big woman.
Solid 5'1" with heels on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, dear God. And this girl, like, her mom and my mom are yelling at each other. And I'm like, girl, you need to chill out. Like, this is a sport. Like, we're here to play a game. And she goes and is about to hit me. And my mom goes running on the field like, is this serious? And no one got kicked out. But that was a wild
That was a wild game.
I thought I was about to get...
I thought your jaw was going to get jacked.
Yeah, but that sounds
there
like
were many times, it would have been a smidge karma because you were a quite physical player, we'll say.
She's stretching it, but sure.
Go with me.
Yeah, but I was pretty physical.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was fun watching you do your years of sports. I like being your mom.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was good ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was probably the most complex out of the three.
The three of you are so different. Such different beings.
Yeah.
Connor's a blend between the two of you.
Anyway, on to my 2 other siblings. Quickly, because, you know, we're coming to an end here. But now as it lays, my mom has a daughter that just graduated from college with a nursing degree who is soon...
She's in the Army, so she's getting ready for her duty station.
Yeah, and potentially going into anesthesiology.
Yeah, she wants to be a nurse anesthetist.
And then... my brother's in school for engineering and wants to do engineering for the military, maybe blow people up. He mentions that a lot. And then hopefully build cars. So my point with this is, like, you've done a crazy job raising kids. Like, with all the crazy shit that I just talked about for the last, like, almost hour.
What are the 2 things I cared about?
It played out in your favor.
When I raised you.
The 2 things. And I want to go on a quick tangent about this. Anytime at school I would get like a D on a test, I'd be like, Mom, but the class average was 52.
Oh, hell no.
I don't give a fuck about the class average. What was your average?
I didn't say the F-bomb this
Yeah,
one. But I didn't care.
I'm an F-bomb.
I don't care what other children did.
She doesn't care. She cared about grades and she cared about sports.
Yep.
And like...
other than that, it was pretty lenient.
Yeah. I mean, shit, we went to Liz Khalifa twice.
There's that.
Yeah. You got high
That's because you gave my cell phone number away.
What's it called?
But
secondhand
those
high.
are the two things I cared about.
Yeah.
And I was militant about those two items.
Yeah, they were. But I mean, I think that builds like character.
But look at your work ethic, all three of you.
Yeah.
Well, one of you is
My
struggling
brother.
with the work ethic right now.
Connor, you need to get on it because lifeguarding for. Let me not. But yeah, the work ethic of the two. He has a work ethic.
He
It's
does.
just he goes about it a little bit differently.
Yeah, he's a little unorthodox, but no, he does have a work
But
ethic.
he is almost got perfect grades in college.
Oh my God.
And does
That's
his
the thing.
ROTC.
Like when I was him, and he's living his best life. Dean's List. He's already taken. He was Calc 3 in his freshman year. Like he's doing great things and celebrating life. Like wouldn't say he's underage drinking because that is wrong.
yeah.
But
Wrong.
when I was
We don't
his
agree in
age,
that.
yeah, we don't do that. But when I was his age, I just dumbed my major down until I could drink and go to school.
I just left after the second year.
He's shifting to, I mean, he's doing it. I mean, he and
Yeah.
Madison both have really plugged through very challenging majors.
So shout out to you because,
That's why the apple's still on the branch.
yeah, because you're pretty badass.
I did okay.
Yeah, you did it. I would say a little better than okay.
Unconventional?
Yeah. But good.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Well, the last part of this podcast, which is funny because my mom is very stylish and can dress herself.
Can't you tell by the dots?
She's a dot queen. Anyone
dot
that knows
girl.
anything about her, anyone that's into Louis Vuitton, the Kusama collection was like God sent to her because it's like this woman that just loves to decorate anything with dots is right up Wendy's alley. She might be your cousin.
I wish.
You'd
She's
be
not.
rich.
I would be.
But anyway, I'm going to style my mom. I think a lot of my style, especially my posh aesthetic, comes from my mom. She has a really posh and
I'd say classic.
classy professionalism aesthetic. And I'm going to do my little twist on that, but it's still going to be really on brand for my mom. And yeah, let's get into it.
Okay.
All right, guys, on to the last segment of this episode. In every episode, I've styled my beautiful mother. But anyway, on to the look. Today, she's wearing Louis Vuitton loafers. Shout out LV, per usual. We love to rep them. She's got a Louis Vuitton belt on. It's a very classic, reversible. You can flip it inside out, and it's monogram. You wear it the way she's wearing it, and it's black. Super nice, super versatile. She has on the crossbody GM Wave, one of my personal favorites. I absolutely love that bag. She's rocking it. Got the black and gold going on. You know, that's my favorite. Up top, she has a little bit of a Chanel dupe. It's from Zara. It's the button-up four-pocket. Is it four-pocket? Yeah, it's four-pocket, which is super awesome. We kind of have a similar vibe going, very mother-daughter. We need to go out with this.
We do. Tonight's our night to shine.
Maybe to the strip club.
Yes, because I know how to do
Super
this now. Spank, let's go. I'm ready.
Perfect. Super on brand. And then the pearls, she doesn't remember. She's probably had them for my whole lifetime.
Yes, exactly.
She's a
I
very...
bought them somewhere.
Yeah, seriously. Who knows? JCPenney's, Macy's?
Who knows?
Kohl's.
Kohl's.
We're good for Kohl's Cash.
Yes.
So, and then her earrings are from Moi. They were from Amazon. And that's her look. I think her pants are just like H&M or something simple.
I think they might be Old Navy.
Shout out Old Navy, okay? If any of you want to toss me a brand deal, I'll be waiting. But that's my mom's look. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Most importantly, Mom, I appreciate you coming out today to share your story and our story. And
Yes.
I've loved being your daughter. So.
And thank you for inviting me. And it's just every step of the way has been a joy with you. And I can't wait to see where the next. I'm 54 and I'm going to be 110.
Period.
So I've
110
got
coming
56
soon.
left. I'm not even halfway done.
Exactly. Appreciate you guys for walking, and I'll see you on the next episode.